Hello everyone. In this today's topic, let's discuss on constitutional amendment and different constitutional amendments. I'm just walking on through my revision of constitution amendment and recording this video. You guys can also refer this. Article 368 provides the constitutional amendment power, and it is mentioned in the part 20th of the constitution. It gives the power to the parliament. Okay, next, there might be very important question on, like, always it occurs, like, one is which house it can be initiated. It can be initiated in any of the houses, either Rajya Sabha or Lok Sabha, but not in any of the state level. That is obvious, you won't make a mistake in that. And coming on to the next question, what they would always ask is like can it be introduced by a private member? It's very important. Can it be introduced by a private member? Yes, it can be introduced by a private member too. And here another important question from this topic only can be asked is like whether president's prior permission is required. It clearly states no. Why? The reason is also important, because India follows a parliamentary system of government, and in parliamentary system, if you know, president comes in the executive, so this power is should reside with the parliament. Thus this permission is with or permission is not required. Next, coming on to this, like how can it be passed? It would be simple, a special majority. Everyone would, most of them would know that. And like special majority also, there are different types of special majorities. Let's see different in different cases below it. Next, another one important thing which is like whether it can be like both houses, like Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, can sit in and enact this bill in a joint sitting. No, it should be passed separately. Okay. Next, and as parliament, as president's prior permission is also not required, and he, to become an act, president must give an assent. So he must give an assent when it is passed. That's for rules for amendment of constitution. These are the important things you need to remember. One is either of the house it can be put in. It can be put in by a private member. President's permission is not required, and no joint sittings. I think these things are very important to keep in mind. Next, coming on to the types of special majorities. Types of majority. Okay, this is some different topic. This is where the simple majority comes into picture, the special majority comes into picture. Special majority by parliament and consent of the states. It would be asked in such a question that for which one of the cases which would come in. Like, this is also an important thing to keep in mind for exam point of view. Formation of new states. Yeah, the article 1, their allowances, also language, citizenship. If you see, the starting articles are in the simple majority state. Okay, UTs. Okay, I am surprised, simple majority by parliament. For UTs, scheduled areas, elections of parliament. Okay, or state legislature. These are the most important things. Instead of remembering this, you can remember the special majority cases. That is fundamental right, DPASPs. Obviously you can write in categorized by this one. And consent of states, when it is required, when it's a federal, when you change the federal structure. Okay. Next, if you see seventh, what is seventh schedule? Let me check. Seventh schedule is division of powers, I guess. Let me check. Yes, it's division of powers. Division of powers. High Court and Supreme Court belongs to both of them, so it needs ratification. This one can be remembered. And election of president and its matters. Okay, special majority with, okay, presidents also and high courts. Okay, executive powers. Executive comes, when executive comes, you can go with consent of states is also required. Okay, got that. After all such constitutional amendments, we have come up with some of the basic structure of constitution which was derived, like supremacy of the constitution, sovereign, democratic republic, these features, secular, federal, unity and integrity, welfare state, rule of law, judicial review, freedom, dignity, free and fair elections, access to justice, FR, essence. Okay, these are some of the articles which are recognized till now. If any questions is asked, like mostly it would be secular, sovereign, democratic, judicial review, freedom, dignity, these things. So you can remember on this, that perspective. Now coming on to the constitutional amendments. I have mentioned the most occurring exam amendments which usually come into exam. Like first amendment. What was the reason for the first amendment? First, freedom of speech, Zamindari Act, state monopoly over the trade was there. So special provisions for economically backward classes. Added the ninth schedule. If you not remember schedules, you can remember by this year of old PM 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is regarding what is ninth schedule. 10th is the validation of certain acts and regulations. Wait, let me check again in Google. Ninth schedule, let's check now. Land reforms. Yeah, what is ninth schedule? I have specifically mentioned this. Ninth schedule contains a list of Central and state laws which cannot be challenged in courts. Yeah, it was created by new 31 and 31A and 31B broadband. The agrarian zamindari system cannot be challenged, but reverted this one that could not be blanket of immunity. K9 schedule for certain cannot be challenged and added in 1951, but 13 laws. Years. Yeah, that is very important because usually people would not be knowing the ninth schedule. Ninth schedule contains a list of central and state laws which cannot be challenged in courts and was added by constitution in 1951. It was created by new 31B. Article 31A was brought by the government. Okay, this was for the agrarian reforms. Okay. Let me just read on it. What is ninth schedule? What was its initial status and what is its now current status?
The ninth schedule is a special list of central and state laws created in 1951. Initially, laws on this list had immunity from court review. However, laws added after 1973 can be challenged if they violate the constitution.
That's the thing you need to remember on the schedule. Okay. Now let's move on to our topic itself. Yeah. Special provisions for socially and economically backward sections was added in this one. Most of them would not remember this, but the first amendment contained this and that land reforms thing. And the grounds of restriction on speech, state trading and nationalism of any trade. Okay, got them. Now let's move on to the next one. Constitutional Amendment 1971, which is 24th Constitutional Amendment Act. Okay, in response to the Golaknath ruling. Okay, SC held that no power of amendment of fundamental rights. Okay. But this affirmed that we would give you power to amend the constitution, because at the same time Keshwananda Bharati case was also there, no? Made it compulsory for president to give assent for constitutional amendment bill. Wow. Okay, got that. These are two important what we discussed. Next comes the very important, you must remember this Constitutional Amendment Act, that is 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act 1976, which in itself is a mini constitution, which it refers. Added three words, socialist, secular. This would be all everyone would know, remember. But what would be the questions? When was fundamental duties in which constitutional amendment act? Anything, write it here. 42nd, it would be correct. Made president bound to advise by the cabinet. It's also very important. Article 74. Cabinet or tribunals. Okay, that is 74, 42nd Amendment Act. Next, made constitutional amendment beyond judicial scrutiny for some of the articles. Let me verify with Google. Okay, Is constitutional amendment beyond judicial scrutiny? What was its status from 1976 to now?
No, a constitutional amendment in India isn't beyond court review. Parliament can pass amendments, but the courts can examine them and overturn them if they violate the constitution's basic structure.
But the status in 1976 during 42nd Constitution during the emergency, it added clauses 4 and 5 to the Constitution. These clauses declared that any constitutional amendment was completely outside scope of judicial review and had unlimited power. This would direct the legislative pushback and against the courts. In 1973, this which was led to in 1980, Supreme Court struck down this 4 and 5 in Minerva Mills case and added by the 47. This was scrapped. Okay, scraped, or instead of that, stuck down. We will rename it as stuck down. Next, Supreme Court clarified that basic structure applies then in 1981. Okay, that was the thing. Next, judicial review. I have said curtailed or repealed the judicial review and writ of SC and HC that was there. Raised tenure from 6 4. This was very interesting. They had raised the Lok Sabha tenure from 5 to 6 years. Then DPSPs over FR. That one was also repealed. Very interesting things happened. And next is 3 new directive principles. Yeah, this can be. And here initially there was something provision called speech restriction. Okay, special provisions. Okay, equal justice and free legal aid, participation of workers in management, and protection of environment, forest. These things were added. Okay, proclamation of national emergency and one-time extension up to 6 months enter. Not necessary. Let's move on to next one. 42nd Constitutional Amendment also added unity of nation to unity and integrity of nation. This was the question asked, so I have mentioned it here. 47th Amendment Act also added this unity of the nation to change it to unity and integrity of the nation. Okay, next, this only article added the 14th A, entitlements, entitled tribunals, that is creation of tribunals for administrative tribunals and other tribunals. Next, coming on to the next is removed, abolished, what is quorum of parliament. This is also repealed. Okay, anything you seem it like not in sync with today's laws, those were made in 42nd Amendment Act. Okay, coming on to the 43rd Constitutional Amendment Act. Restore jurisdiction, writ jurisdiction. Okay, writ jurisdictions were repealed in this one. No, let's see. Yeah, curtail judicial review and writ jurisdiction of HC and SC. What is writ jurisdiction? Writ jurisdictions, what I feel is like that. Writs. What are writ jurisdictions?
Writ jurisdiction allows high and supreme courts to issue written orders, ensuring public officials and courts follow the law. These orders act as a
habeas corpus, mandamus, certiorari, those things. How did I just forget? Yeah. Next, 44th Constitutional Amendment Act. This is also second most. First is this one. Second is the first Constitutional Amendment Act. The third important is 44th Constitutional Amendment Act. Restore the term of Lok Sabha. Whatever the repeals were made were done in this. Read a provision of satisfaction of government, that is okay. Leave it. Replaced internal disturbances with armed rebellions. This is one you can remember. Armed rebellion was added in this one because that was made in 1976. Right to property delete. When was it deleted? As a fundamental right. 44th Constitutional Amendment Act. Anything deleted, replaced, anything comes, it's in 44th Constitutional Amendment Act. See here, one blunder they had made. When was the national emergency during Indira Gandhi happened?
The national emergency during Indira Gandhi's time as Prime Minister began on June 25, 1975 and ended on March 21, 1977, lasting for 21 months.
Yeah, see, in this period only, like 1975, there was a national emergency. Thus, these all changes came in. Because national emergency was held in 1975 June. So, this case came. And Article 20 and 21 cannot be suspended during national emergency. Yeah. What are 20? 21 I know. Life, personal liberty, etc. This is something everyone must remember. Article 20 is like unfair detention. It's against the detention, like self-incrimination, double jeopardy, those things. It's against the it's for the protection of detention of a citizen. Took away the power of court on election disputes and president. Yeah, again one thing you can remember is like what are the rights of the citizen, and then foreigner also gets those. I had read it in recent days but I forgot now. Let me check. It's not written here, it's written somewhere here. See, 15, 16, 19, 29 and 30 are given to only citizens. These are 5 articles you need to remember. And 20 and 21 are anyone would get it, so everyone would get it. 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25 straight away. What is right to freedom, equality, employment, freedom, equality. This is Article 15, prohibition of discrimination based on caste, creed. This one, employment. Okay, yeah, that's all I wanted to discuss in this one. Let me check if there is anything I can discuss. Yeah, let's just revise it. I have 5 more minutes. Let me quickly revise this thing also. What all parts come, which all articles come under which part? 1 to 4 first, you would remember it. 2 citizenship 5 to 11. And here is further segregation. This I need to read. I will make a separate video on this. Fundamental rights, citizenship, DPSPs, fourth, fifth, fundamental 4A, fundamental duties. Till here everyone would remember. What comes fifth one and sixth one, union and state. You can directly remember union and state. Next coming is eighth one, duties. Union, state, seventh one you leave, eighth one you directly jump into it. That is about duties. After that, lowest granularities come according to the granularity, like hierarchy. Union comes first, states, then union territories. Next comes this order: panchayats, municipalities. These are 9A, 9. These all are the grassroots level administration. So panchayats, municipalities, cooperative societies come under 9A, B, C. Sorry, 9, 9A, 9B. Okay. Next coming on to 10th is about scheduled tribes and scheduled areas. Next 11th is on relation between. Okay. Now these things are over. When scheduled tribes and scheduled areas is last where we stop it. Okay. And then we come into the 11th, state and union, their relations, finance and property, trade. 11th one you remember and neglect those. Now coming on to this, they would certainly ask this on which article, where is the UPSC come under which article? UPSC comes under which article? 315. Okay, so here only it would come. So tribunals 14A. Next, very important is 15th, elections. From 324 to 305 articles are there for elections. Next coming on to 330 special provisions for certain classes. This I think no one will ask. Now remember this official languages: 17th part, 18th emergencies, 19th miscellaneous. Just now we studied 20th amendment of constitution. Yes, everyone would forget this, but remember the sequence. Okay, don't just go via this. First is state. What is state? Those things. Second is citizenship. Third is FR. Fourth UPSP. 4A duties, fundamental duties. Fifth center. Sixth state. Seventh we leave a gap. Eighth we go with the eighth. Ninth are like UT. Then ninth we go with panchayats. 9A, 9B is municipalities, cooperative societies. Municipalities, cooperative societies. And 10th one we complete this session by scheduled areas. This complete thing is done. 5th to this one. Next coming on to 11th, I don't remember. Relation 12th you don't remember also, it's fine. But remember the 14th one where UPSC comes in, 15th where elections comes in, and remember this comes under 315th article, and here 324th article to 329th article. These are very important. Next is 16th also I don't remember. 17th you remember, it is 17th and 18th. 17th is for official language and 18th is for emergency. 17th official language. Emergency provisions, 19th miscellaneous, 20th we go with amendment. Miscellaneous before miscellaneous. There is next short title and commencement. These are in 22nd. Remember this order. You are sorted. Yeah, thank you.